ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. While the kiosks are closed in the park, you can still enjoy Joffrey's by visiting Joffreys.com. There you can find all their great coffees and a brand new stainless steel tumbler that looks fantastic and reminds me of Spaceship Earth. You can find all that at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
For those of you who have joined us at the Polynesian Village Resort Hotel, aloha, and welcome aboard the Walt Disney World local monorail system. During the trip, we request that everyone please remain seated and that there please be no eating, drinking, or smoking. Thank you. Our next stop is the Magic Kingdom.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is the gateway to the magic, ResortLoop.com. Hope everyone's having a magical week. Hopefully everybody is healthy, wealthy, and wise, or at least, being safe, doing what you need to do. We're all going to get through this. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to talk about that later. I was actually going to record the show just a little bit earlier. Then I heard of some news coming down that I wanted to include in the show, so I kind of held off until I could soak some of the stuff in and look up some sources here. But Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products has put out some news I thought was kind of important, worth discussing. We all know that the Disney CEO right now is Bob Chapek in tandem with Bob Iger. But they filled up some positions, below the CEO that was very interesting, gaining a lot of great play on the internet. I'm going to read some here from the official press report, because that's we're going to get the most accurate news of what's going on here. From May 18th, Bob Chapek announced a new Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products leadership team that will be led by Josh D'Amaro, who has been named chairman of the Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products. So he's actually filling in for Bob Chapek's old position before he became CEO. So that kind of puts him really up there, Mr. Amaro. And I can't say I've heard a bad word from anybody about Josh D'Amaro. I've heard nothing but positive. Over the past couple weeks, and actually for the past couple months, you've seen him all over social media. He's been going through the parks. He's been playing some park music while he's been in there. Everything has kind of been silent. If you've seen these videos, you know what I'm talking about. Kind of keeping us all touched in, so we still know the parks are there, that people are working in the parks, that he can't wait for us to get into the parks. He comes across to me as a true Disney fan himself, which I can't always say I necessarily get that from people up there in the company, but I'm very excited that Josh D'Amaro is where he is. He says, I'm incredibly proud of the new leadership team at the parks, beginning with the segment's chairman, longtime Disney veteran Josh D'Amaro, and his newly announced team of Jeff Vail, Ken Patrak, Kareem Daniel, and Thomas Maslin. Said Mr. Chapek, these talented executives played pivotal roles while leading our exceptional cast members during the largest periods of growth in the segment's history, which included the expansion of our parks and resorts around the world, the addition of the new attractions including 2 highly acclaimed Star Wars-themed lands, and a shift to a more personalized guest experiences. I am confident that they assume even greater responsibility and pursue new opportunities. These proven leaders will have an even bigger impact on the future of the company. So I actually believe Mr. Chapek here when he said they're setting up the company to run well into the future. It says Mr. D'Amaro, who most recently served as president of the Walt Disney World Resorts, succeeds Mr. Chapek. In the new role, Mr. D'Amaro will oversee Disney's iconic travel and leisure business, which includes 6 theme parks and their destinations in the United States, Europe, and Asia, a top-rated cruise line, a wonderful cruise line, a popular vacation ownership program, you might have heard of Disney Vacation Club, I'm throwing these in here, by the way, and an award-winning guided and family adventure business. And Disney's global consumer products operation, which includes the world's largest licensing businesses across toys, apparel, home goods, digital games, and apps, and the world's largest children's print publisher, Disney store locations around the world, and Disney's Shop Disney e-commerce platform. But for those who weren't familiar with this Mr. D'Amaro, I'm going to go over his resume a little bit. Before beginning as president of Walt Disney World in 2019, because that was a new job for him, he was president of the Disneyland Resort. He joined Disney in 1998 at the Disneyland Resort and held a number of leadership positions across the company. Senior Vice President of Commercial Strategy for Walt Disney World, and also led the site's resorts and transportation operations. Served as Vice President of the Animal Kingdom theme park. His other roles included Adventures by Disney's, sales and operations at Hong Kong Disneyland, finance for the global licensing division of Disney Consumer Products, and the business and planning strategy development for the Disneyland Resort. And so this guy's well qualified. He's seen multiple facets of the business. He's worked on the inside of the company. It sounds like he's well staged to at some point become the next CEO. And they go on to list, the other people that I mentioned here, but I just want to briefly get into the thing that impressed me with all of these resumes is their amount of time at the company. But Jeff Vail, who's the new president of Walt Disney World, he's been at Disney for 30 years. 30 years. So he's been at the company for a while. So he kind of knows what's going on. I guess most recently he did Disney Signature Experiences. So Ken Potrock is also now the new president of Disneyland. He was also with Consumer Products. He's been with the company for 25 years. So I love seeing that the new people in these positions have been with the company for a very long time. Kareem Daniel is the president of Consumer Products, Games, and Publishing. It doesn't really give a year here, so he might not have quite as much time, but it does say that he started as an intern. He started with Disney as an MBA intern and became a senior business planner in the corporate financial and planning and analysis. So he's got a good resume. And then Thomas Maslam, he's the new president of Disney's Signature Experiences. Mr. Maslam said he was thrilled to continue his Disney career by joining the businesses renowned for providing personalized and uniquely Disney experiences. It says here he's a veteran of Walt Disney World Parks and Resorts. He's previously overseen 28 resort hotels, as well as the transportation operations. It says here he began his career at Disney in 1998. Now, I did see he left the company for a little bit to work at, I think it was Crystal Cruise Line, but he came back. So, again, I'm happy to see that all these executives have lots of Disney experience, especially with the theme park operations. I'm thrilled to see someone who's worked on multiple layers at the theme park level to now be in charge there at Disney. So I thought that was some big, huge news. I'm hoping that's going to be great for the company moving forward. I know a lot of people have not been too thrilled with Bob Chapek for one reason or another. I'm remaining optimistic. We got to get through this whole situation we're in right now, moving forward, and we're going to see how the things go. But I thought this is very important. I thought we should talk about it just real quick. If you have any thoughts on these new executives, by the way, post them over at Looper Nation Live, our private Facebook group. I want to touch on with Josh D'Amaro real quick. There are lots and lots of people I've seen in my different social media feeds of their picture was Josh D'Amaro. So he seems like he's made himself very accessible and seems very happy to have, met all the Disney fans he has, and I think that says a lot about him and what we're going to look forward to with the company in the future. So more on the huge news front. Not only do we have new positions being filled at the top of the Disney company, Disney Springs is finally going to start to reopen. Now, again, we've talked about this before. They're going to have a phased reopening of things. It's all going to start on the 20th of May. This is 2020. By the way, if you're listening to the future, this is 2020. This might be archival information, but this is exciting. Things to know for this phased reopening of Disney Springs. The official information reads, as we begin to reopen Disney Springs with a number of shopping and dining locations beginning May 20th, it says we're actually looking ahead to May 27th. We'll begin to reopen more of our Disney-owned shops and restaurants, including World of Disney, Deluxe Burger, as far as mobile ordering goes, and the Marketplace Co-op. With that, our next milestone, we are eager to welcome back our guests, some cast members, and third-party operating participants with safety and well-being being at the forefront of all our planning efforts. As we navigate through this unprecedented time as responsibly as we can, we have implemented a number of new safety measures based on guidance from health authorities, such as the CDC and appropriate government agencies. It says for cast members, operating, participating employees, and guests, there are 6 key things to know before arriving at Disney Springs, and they include limited parking and reduced entrances. So when you get there, follow the arrows, follow the signs, follow anybody pointing you where to go, because you might not be able to park where you'd like to park. Temperature screenings prior to entry. So if you don't think you're feeling well, and you might have a temperature, I wouldn't bother to go. Again, that's just personal responsibility, caring for others, plus you probably won't get in there anyway. Face coverings are required for guests ages 3 and up. So if you don't want to wear a mask, you don't think your kids can wear a mask, or you don't want your kids to wear a mask, don't bother going, they won't let you in. Physical distancing practices, including physically distanced queues and physical barriers. So prepare for things to move a little differently, to look a little differently. And again, there'll be cast members everywhere to make sure you're doing what you need to do and to point you in the right direction. temporary operations and modifications, including reduced hours at select locations, and no scheduled entertainment offerings or high-touch interactive areas. So it doesn't seem there won't be any really live music, I'm guessing, judging by this, because they don't want crowds gathering around to view the artists right now. I'm sure that'll come back, but for now, during this phased reopening, and I'm sure people are going to be watching the numbers and watching how people interact, and if everything goes well, we'll see how things go from there. And there'll be an increased focus on disinfecting and sanitation, including the addition of hand-washing stations and hand sanitizers in key areas. I will say, feel free to use those, and you might even want to maybe, take your own hand sanitizer with you just to be safe. It says, since many of these measures will be new and may evolve, we want to be sure guests, cast members, and operating participant employees are aware of the changes. So don't go in cold. Make sure you kind of know what's happening and be ready to go. And there's also a warning on the website, just so Disney wants to make sure everybody knows. It says, we have taken enhanced health and safety measures for you, our other guests, and cast members. You must follow all posted instructions while visiting Disney Springs. An inherent risk of exposure to COVID-19 exists in any public place where people are present. COVID-19 is an extremely contagious disease that can lead to a severe illness and death. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, senior citizens and guests with underlying medical conditions are especially vulnerable. By visiting Disney Springs, you voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure to COVID-19. It says help keep each and other healthy. So they're laying it right out there for you. Just because they're opening up doesn't mean it's totally safe to go. And again, I've talked about this on the show. You're going to have to assess your risk level and your comfort level going. And once again, they're promoting limited contact with other people in the park. Everyone has to wear face coverings for ages 3 and up. They're putting up the physical barriers, and they're promoting cashless transactions. So things like the Magic Band, if you have something on there, Apple Pay on your phone. What are the other ones? Google Pay, Samsung Pay, all those kind of things. They even go on to say on the website that you can even buy a Disney gift card. Now, that might help because you can just tap that on their system there. Also, under physical distancing and capacity measures, they're going to try to manage the number of guests visiting. They say there'll be directional signage has been installed to assist guests to responsibly move throughout the property. Additionally, there'll be markings on the ground, which will help promote proper physical distancing when queuing is needed at this location. It's going to be like going to the grocery store or going to like a new mall, or no, not a new mall, going to a mall now where there's like lines and places to put your feet on the ground just to kind of make you aware how to socially distance yourselves. It says we're also training cast members to engage with guests and promote physical distancing guidelines in common areas and queues. So you're going to see special cast members out there that are just going to be there, not just be there, but their primary focus will be on making sure people are physical distancing and, acting how they should. So on May 20th, this is something else I want to just talk about real quick. Some of the stores will be open. I won't mention every single one. Basin, the Boathouse, Earl of Sandwich. You need to get yourself a sandwich. Frontera Cucina, Lucky Brand, Pandora Jewelry, Planet Hollywood, The Polite Pig, the Ron John Surf Shop, STK Orlando, T-Rex, Uniqlo, Wolfgang Puck, Wine Bar George. A lot of good things, but what I'm most excited to announce is that the Disney Springs locations of the Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company will be opening on the 20th. So that's some great news. So thank goodness you can start required caffeination correctly. The Joffrey's release says, we have missed you a latte. We are so excited to reopen and welcome our guests at Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Locations at Disney Springs and Marketplace and Disney Springs The Landing will reopen on Wednesday, May 20th, and they will operate from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Joffrey says, rest assured, we are committed to a responsible reopening environment and experience for our employees and guests, and we look forward to serving you. The Joffrey's release, of course, all employees will be adhering to the proper CDC guidelines. They'll be wearing the face coverings during their shift also. They're also encouraging contactless payments, things like credit card, magic bands, that kind of thing. We'll be adhering to physical distancing guidelines, and they'll be maintaining a maximum occupancy at the start of 25% at their locations. In an abundance of caution, we've removed the self-serve cream and milk. Your employees will be happy to craft your beverage to your liking. That's good. They probably would have done that before. I'm just going to say it. And they're also going to be, emphasizing the cleaning, sanitizing, all stuff that I know they did before, but, we're reiterating it now. So that's great news. It's actually in the middle of what's been going on for the past couple of months. Excited to see Disney Springs is opening up. The Joffrey's locations at Disney Springs are opening up. Some, I think, great leaders falling into place at the top of Disney, at least for right now. Again, highly encouraged, very excited. Until you give me a reason not to be, that's the way I'm going to go. I'm a half full kind of guy. I'm going into everything optimistic right now. Light at the end of the tunnel. I hope everyone feels the same way. One thing I want to say, I hope the opening to Disney Springs goes well for everyone. I know when this whole thing started, at least in my area, you know where I'm from. We had instances where people were on purpose walking through grocery stores, coughing out loud, like through the grocery store in the produce area. I mean, obnoxiously so. And then the grocery stores had to throw away all the food because they didn't know if these people were really sick or not. So I have a feeling that if this kind of thing were to take place at Disney Springs, those guests will be escorted off the property, and I would not be surprised to see lifetime bans handed down. So everyone behave. Keep an eye out. Keep yourself safe. We're going to get through this together. Don't let other people bring you down. One foot in front of the other. Great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Now is the time. Now is the best time. You can fly, you can fly, you can fly. Please stand clear of the doors. I've run out of things right now. I need to make a whole list. You get what I'm saying. Everybody's going to have a great time. Let's get this ball rolling. And before I wrap up the show, over at ResortLoop.com, on our blog, we have a brand new article from Mr. Jim McNair. He gives us a great trip report from his last trip to Disney last October. So if you're missing any kind of new pictures, insights into a trip, check out Jim McNair's blog over at ResortLoop.com. If you're looking forward to a trip later this year or even next year, check us out over at ResortLoopTravel.com. I'd like to help you out with that. It's a great way to help you support the show. Also, if you like the show, be sure to share it with your friends and family. I always say go out there and share the gateway to the magic. Tell your friends to subscribe to the show. Go over to their favorite podcast catcher. Be sure to subscribe. And also, don't forget to get in on the conversation. Join us over at Looper Nation Live, our Facebook group over there. I post lots of polls over there, some things I see. It's a great way to interact with other great Disney fans. Here's something I've not mentioned for a while. If you want to phone in and open for the show, or you want to give any kind of comments that I might be able to play on the show, we've got what we call the Looper phone line, the Looper line, area code 414-WDW-LOOP. That's area code 414-WDW-LOOP. Everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com, which I've already told you about. And I've already said share the gateway to the magic, so go out there and share the gateway to the magic. And give me a phone call. Area code 414-WDW-LOOP. See you, everybody. Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.